Hello and welcome back to the channel where we are building a video game from scratch using Love2d and Lua. We're working on some refactoring for our pushable objects. So we've got things like this boulder here where we can push. And the problem is we can push it into things we don't want it to be pushed into, like an NPC. Or if there was another boulder, it would also be able to be pushed into another boulder. So we're refactoring our pushable objects. We're thinking of it like if what's on the map here is part of the map layer, that we want a bunch of extra stuff to potentially be on top of the map layer, things that can either change or move, like a treasure chest being opened, or a boulder being pushed, or a log being pushed, or a locked door being, uncollidable that could then change into an open doorway. So I think we're trying to have a collidable map objects table, and we're inserting things like our pushable objects into this table. So we have to add a couple of things. Let's see the map declarations, and you can see here that it reads a little bit better now. We're saying go into map 7.2, go into our collidable map objects table, and go ahead and insert an object of a pushable class. So we have a class called pushables, so instantiate a pushable inside this collidable map objects. And then if we take a look at what's in our pushable, we added a little field called class type. So the rest of our app can have an idea of, if we're cycling through our collidable map objects, we can say, hey, is the class type a pushable? If so, we need to update it over time, so there we can check for a pushing event and then go ahead and push it. So we're doing that, and then in our player walk state, we cycle through our collidable map objects like this. And then we're doing just that, where we're saying, okay, well, if the object in our collidable map objects table is a class type of pushable, then let's check for collision with our player and that pushable, and update our push timer if that's the case. And then if we're colliding and that push timer threshold has been reached, then let's check if that object can be legally pushed to the next square. And if it can legally be pushed, let's go ahead and run that push left method. So we've got that. It's built out. What we need to add today is we need to add collidable map object collision detection to the legal push. Because if there's a boulder where we're about to push another boulder, this legal push method should fail. And right now, all it's doing is checking the tile IDs of the map. So like anything that's part of our scene here, like this grass underneath the signpost is a tile ID, and then the signpost is on another layer right above it, and that's got a tile ID. And we're basically saying if the tile ID is not a collidable map object, which is different than our collidable map objects table. Collidable map object is what I'm calling anything that we draw on the map with a specific tile ID. So that's why we're not allowed to push a boulder into this post here or the water on the other side of us. So right now this boulder is stuck because we pushed it there, but we're supposed to actually reset it. I thought, we reset it in the pushables table, so we need to reset it in our collidable map objects table. So we are not doing that. It's called reset original position, and we should be doing that for any pushable in our pushables table, but we need to move it. So let's do this reset original position and look for it in the scene here. So when we go ahead and cycle through our pushables, it's basically we want to do collidable map objects. So now we cycle through the collidable map objects, then we can take it another step. We can say if the V class type is equal to that of a pushable, then we want to go ahead and reset that original position. So that should work for the reset now. Okay, so it's stuck, and then we walk off, we come back, and it's reset. So we do, there is an option where, for example, like the end of the demo, we're going to be pushing a log out of the way to open the trail up here to the ice mountain. And once that's pushed, we want to lock it so that you don't have to push it to open the trail. So there's going to be something like permanent objects that can be pushed as a sort of like lock in place. We'll figure out how to do that once we come to it, but it should be easy. So yeah, we need to add to our legal push method, we need to add a check that says, okay, not only if the tile ID is in the range of a collidable map object, but if the X and Y position is equal to that of a other collidable map object, then legal push is not allowed. Legal push would return false. So let's see if we can find that. It's called legal push. Cool. So, this is it. It's not very pretty, but basically we're saying we had to do this because we were getting some bugs. So we're saying if the row we're checking, basically if the rock is at any of the outside borders of our map, then we know it's not a legal push because we're deciding that you're not allowed to push objects off screen. So we're going to say return false if you're about to push it off screen. Otherwise, we're going to grab this tile. We're going to grab the tile that we pass in as a parameter. We're also going to grab the layer that might be above it and the top level layer that might be above it, because our maps are in 3 layers. Ground, what we call it, ground, above ground, and then top level. And the only difference with top level is rendering above our player. So our player is rendering above our ground and above our above ground, because these flowers here are transparent, or at least they should be, on top of grass, and we're on top of them. But something like the roof of this hut is a top level tile, so it's above our player while we're above everything else. So those are the 3 layers. We're snagging them. Then we're saying, hey, if your tile ID is a value of these predetermined collidable map object values, then legal push is false because you're not allowed to collide with a non-collidable object. Otherwise, return true. So we need to add another condition here that loops through our collidable map objects and checks if the X position is the X position of a because we're running the legal push on the thing we're pushing, right? So we're running the method on the thing we're pushing, and we give it the ID, the row and column, as a text or as a index. So like not in pixels, but in a 1, 2, 3, 4 over and 4 down. So we give ourselves that index X and Y, and we're trying to check if the collidable map objects, if any of them have that same index, meaning that space we're checking is already occupied by a collidable map object. So I don't think we have. Let's take a look at our pushable, and we do have this thing called tile X, tile Y, and that is the row and column of the tile. I don't know what to call this. I need to come up with some vernacular for this because it's the row and column of the tile sheet. So each tile is 16 by 16. So 1 by 1 would be top left. 10, 8 would be 10 columns, 8 down. So the bottom right. So that's what the tile X, tile Y is. Then we convert we convert that row and column into a pixel amount by multiplying the tile size here. So that gives us our pixel amount. So if we're checking our legal push method against, we're trying to see if it's already occupied by an item, we need to check either our tile X and tile Y or our self X and self Y for a collision. So I guess it comes down to, in our other collidable map objects, are we going to have a tile X and tile Y? I think so, because it's easier to think of it in those terms, 3 columns over, two rows down. It's easier to think like that than it is to say, okay, give me a treasure chest at 160 on the X and 144 on the Y, so I think we do want a tile X and tile Y. That'll keep it simple. So for our legal push method, we can just count on these tile X, tile Y fields to determine if it's already occupied. If it's already occupied, it is not a legal push. Therefore, it should prevent us from pushing 2 pushables into the same spot. So we'll try that. And I'm going to fix Jimmy Cam real quick. Okay, well, it's kind of fixed. So let's see if we can do this. I had a migraine for like 8 hours of the day today, so I couldn't even go to work, and that's why it's a late stream. But let's see if we can get it working here. So yeah, legal push. So if we run this on a pushable, now this is tough because we're trying to run this on a certain scene, right? Because depending on which scene we're in determines whether or not we can have a legal push, because right now there's 200 scenes. And that's like a whole screen worth of tile IDs. So we need to know what scene we're checking for. So we do have this current map. And the current map is whatever the scene view is. The scene view is whatever we're currently looking at. And then the map is the map object. So we should have, if we look at our map class, our current map will be a map object. And we have row and column for our map. Okay. So, for example, where we spawn currently, it's a 7-2. What just happened there? Yeah, it's a 7-2. Okay, so let's say, okay, we check the top level IDs, but then we need to see, and I don't know if I like this, like, do we nest it further with this? Because the thing is, we do need to check. Okay, maybe we just return true at the very end if we don't return false, instead of doing it in the else here, because we still have to check if any collidable map objects have a tile X and tile Y of the given row and call that are our parameters here. I mean, I guess we just add it as another condition. Well, no, because we need to loop through. Okay, so what we can do is we can do another return false before we even check the tile ID. And we can say, let's loop through. Let's loop through our scene view, current map, and the current map, does the current map, it's not scene view current map. What it would be is our global map at the row and column of our scene view. So scene view current map row, and then scene view current map column. Is it just call for that? Let's see. No, it is column. Yeah, it is column. Okay. Okay. So we're cycling through the dot collidable map objects. Of the current scene we're in. And we want to do, and let's just see if that crashes or anything. Okay. Like if that, if we did that wrong, it should crash there, because when it checks for illegal push, it'd be cycling through that collidable map object. So it looks like we might have done that right. And we're just going to say, okay, if the V, which is the collidable map object in this table, if that collidable map has a tile X of that is equal to, now this is where I'm getting confused, because our legal push takes in a row and a column. A row would be, the Y value, so the tile X would be the call of our parameter, and we would have to match it to a tile Y. Both the tile X and the tile Y have to be equal to our parameters of the next legal push check in order for us to know that it should be false and we should return false. So we're going to cycle through the objects. If that object that we're checking in all of them have a tile X and tile Y equal to what we're checking for a legal push for, then we're going to return false. That might work. So let's go ahead and go to our map declarations, and we're going to insert another pushable. And we're going to insert it just to the right of our boulder, but we're going to make it a log so we can at least distinguish them. And we're going to see if we can push it in. Okay, so we can push up. That still works. We can push back. And it looks like we cannot push two objects through one another. So let's make sure if we push this down, then we can push this in. Nice. Nice. And then if we push, ignore the log. The log looks bad, right? But at least we've got that, and they both reset. So now at least pushable objects cannot be pushed into each other, so that's good. So that's a big success. The next one is tough, because if we want to prevent someone from pushing, this is tough, man. This is tough. Because let's say we want to now stop someone from pushing a collidable map object into an NPC. Now, this is tough because the NPC moves and updates over time. It's tough because the NPC does not have a tile X or tile Y location, because it is just pixels that get updated over time. So it's got a self X and a self Y that change over time. So we'd have to do a different type of collision detection to check for our legal move. And it's tough because I guess it wouldn't be that bad. Because if we go to check for legal move, if there is an NPC in our current map's NPC table, then let's check if we have the X and Y and width and height of a collidable map object, so we can just run AABB collision on the NPC. But where it gets tough is like, okay, let's say we successfully get the block to not be able to be pushed into an NPC. That's one issue. The second issue is, how do we get an NPC to not walk through a collidable map object? And what does its logic look like for that? Because we don't want them to deviate. We don't want them to deviate their path, or have the player be able to manipulate their path by pushing something in their way. Ideally, we just have them pause if they're about to walk into a collidable map object, and only unpause if their path is clear. But they change paths, you know. This one is changing paths 4 times in 5 seconds or whatever, you know. So as we're updating, maybe we can say, you know, I don't know. Yeah, if we're updating our NPC and we're about to collide into collidable map object, I don't know how we'd stop it, dude. Let's take a look at our NPC. We have steps, which are booleans. We have a walk timer. We have a direction index. And we basically just walk through one step at a time. Depending on the option we give our NPC, we just increment our steps and say, okay, well, let's change our direction. Let's become the next step. Let's wait. And then, you know, after we've waited, become the next step, and then wait for the walk timer. Update our position. So something in here is where we would change it, where you'd say, see, and it's not even through any of these steps. It's like, I don't know if I want to do this. I think we can maybe just make the call and say, hey, let's not do any pushable objects in a scene with an NPC in it. That's like a cop-out answer, but also, like, we've got so much stuff to do in this game. This is just not very high priority for its complexity. Like, it's not a feature of the game to push pushables into NPCs' ways. Like, we shouldn't really allow that. And that's all this work would be to prevent somebody from doing something when we can just enforce that state in the design process. I don't know. I'm a little torn about that. But in order for us to prevent the NPC from walking into a collidable and pause its movement, we'd have to do something a little complicated, because we have to check which direction it's facing and then see if there's a collidable object directly on the other side of that direction, and if so, pause your logic. I don't know. If we think about it through states, right? Like, oh man, it's just too tough. Because, like, I would say, like, let's just turn our NPC into idle if there's a pushable anywhere near it, and we can kind of like cheat it like that. So it'd be like, if there's a pushable near them, then they just won't walk, and then we already prevent them from having a pushable pushed into them if we go about that route. That's one way. That would be kind of easy, because then whenever a pushable gets, let's say, within 16 pixels of any side of them, they just change into an idle state, and they listen for when a pushable gets out of that range, and then they can update again. That's one way. That's probably the easiest way I can think of to do it. And that would still entail every frame of our NPC walk state, we'd cycle through our pushables and check if our X position is within 16 pixels on an X and Y of a pushable. And if so, then we change to our idle state. And idle state just stays there, and it runs an update checking for when there's no pushables in the range. And if there's no pushables in the range or collidable map objects in the range, go ahead and walk. You know, that's maybe not so bad. And then we don't have to limit pushables onto a scene with an NPC. So maybe that's the route we go to try it. Oh, the sleepiness is hitting me though. I think that's okay. I think that makes sense. And then it doesn't feel like such a cop-out where we just give up on it. So let's see if we can do it. First thing we're going to do is limit our pushable to not be pushed into an NPC. So if we go into our legal push, yeah, we want to say, let's cycle through our NPCs. I am learning a ton about game development trying to do this. You know, like what's so interesting to me is like there's no one right way to do it, right? But there are like better patterns. And I'm feeling the limitations of my bad choices sometimes. But I just feel like it's teaching me a lot. So it's not our collidable map objects, it's our NPCs table. I believe it's NPCs like that. Let's double check. It's just NPC. Okay. Okay. We cycle through our NPC table for our current map. And we need a check. And I think this is where we can check if we had a true AABB collision method on our collidable map object. We would say if our NPC, oh, see, look, let's do our pushable, so our self, right? Because we're trying to see if our own pushable, if us, I think that's right. We should be able to do that. If our self, nope. Where were we, man? Okay. Okay, so we're going to say, we're going to run a collides function, and it's a method on our pushable object. And we're going to feed it the value of the NPC that we've currently got. Now, an NPC will have an X and Y width and height, and so does the self, which is all we need to detect collision detection. So we can say if we are going to collide, see, and it's not, oh shoot, man, how do we do this? I think we might want to make like a local variable, a local pushable, because the thing is, we're not checking if the pushable we're pushing is going to collide with the NPC. That's not the case. It's if once we push it, does where it ends up after we push it collide with the NPC, and that's when we would want to become legal push false. So we disallow that behavior. So it's not that. Yeah, it's like we need to use the row and call that we pass in for our legal push, and use that tile X and tile Y to translate into an X and Y. Oh, this is easy. This is easy because we would just convert our row and call into an X and Y, feed that X and Y into a collides function, and we have the width and height. It's a tile size. And we check if that new position where it ends up will collide with an NPC, and if so, don't allow it. So if, and this is what we would need to do, it would need to take in like if we had a pushable.x, a pushable.y, and the value of the NPC, and we can call it NPC to make it easier. So we're going to run the collides function on ourself, which is on our pushable, and we're going to give it this, and we're going to return false if we collide with the NPC with the space that our pushable is about to go into. So we need a local pushable.x, or I guess it would just be pushable x like this, and pushable y. We can do it here because it's not a field, it's not an object, it's just a variable. So pushable x and y, and we're going to assign this based on x is based on the call and y is based on the row. And how we do this is the x, this is the integer in pixels that we derive from the index row and column. So like the column, we need to multiply it by our tile size, and we subtract tile size so that we zero it to the left side. And then same with this one, where we can say, let's multiply by our tile size, subtract our tile size. Okay, that should be our x and y. Now we don't have a collides method on our pushable, so we need to define it. So we'll say that our pushable has a collides method, and it takes in an x, a y, and a target. And then the x and y would be, would we say tile x? What we're passing in is not a tile x. We're passing in just an x. Okay, so that's fine. So we have an x, a y. We've already calculated that by the time we pass it in. We have a target, which is an NPC object, which is an entity object, which has an x and a y. So we can just do some AABB collision here. So we can say, let's check our left side first. If our left side, and we'll do it for detecting a collision, so if our left side is smaller than target's right side, and the right side of us is smaller than, well, let's see, hold on. Yeah, okay, so we are the pushable, so we're seeing if the pushable's x is smaller than the right side. Okay, yep, and then the right side of us would have to be greater than the left side of the target. And if both of those are true, then we can check our y and say if the top of us is smaller than the bottom of our target, which would be y plus height, and the bottom of us would have to be bigger than the top of the target, then return true for the collides. And if we don't hit that return true, we're just going to return false here. Okay, so we have a collides method. It might work, it might not. We're running it on these two local variables we calculated to be the pushables.x, and this isn't the pushables x and y. This is where the pushable would end up if we succeed in pushing it, because we're kind of like checking in the future. We're saying, if by the time we move this pushable, is that colliding with the NPC? If colliding with any NPC, and if so, we're going to return false on our legal push to prevent this from happening. So let's give it a shot and see if we did it right. So we're going to try to push this pushable into the mage over there, and hopefully we cannot do it. It looked like it works. Because look, it won't let me push it because he's not a perfect like tile size away. You know, I don't really like, yeah, I mean, this makes sense to me. It doesn't feel that great, but it does prevent us from doing it. It does prevent us from pushing it into him. So my only concern with this method is if we were to put it, let's say down here, it's going to be hard to illustrate. But look, we can get very close to him. The idea is if everything was scooted up a bit, we could push, while he's walked away from us, we could push it in his way and he would still be able to collide with it, which wouldn't be good. So we still technically have to do the other method of swapping him over to an idle state. I don't know. You know what? I don't know. I think this is good for now, because just the ability, if he's in his walking in a square, then we can't have him collide with it. So I think it's okay. If we come to a design level where we need a pushable to be able to get closer to them, or we need the pushable or we need the mage, the NPC, to have a smarter way of not running into blocks. Because right now, we're not preventing the NPC from walking into a block at all. We're just preventing us from pushing a block into the NPC's direct path. So if the NPC were walking further left and right, then while he's left, we can push a brick into his path and he would then walk through it. So that's the only thing that this doesn't give us. But from the current design standpoint, this works fine. So I think we can call this a decent setup for our pushes, because we can't push it off screen, we can't push it through collidable map objects, we can't push it through pushables, we can't push it through NPCs. So I think I like that. I think this is fine for what we need for now. It's at least fine for the demo, and that's what we're shooting for. So I think we're okay there. I do want to start building out a little credit system, like rolling the credits, so that I can end streams by like rolling credits of people who support the channel. And part of me wants to just kind of knock out at least a basic version of it right now. So maybe we can just try to do that. Let's see. Yeah, let's say it'll be really simple, like super simple. And we're just going to say, it's not even going to be a state or anything. It's just going to be toggleable by pressing C for credits. And we're going to say, if C is pressed, credit sequence gets true. And then basically credit sequence is just going to be an overlay. And we can do, yeah, maybe we can do a, let's initialize this to false. And we'll make sure we can render to the credit sequence here. Yeah, everything, this should be okay. So look, if, like, for example, if we were to just test. I think we need to pass it as a string, and then we give it an X and Y. So let's just say top left. And we do this just because there's so many layers of things in the game. I just want to make sure we can view it, and we can, so that's okay. So let's say this is credits. The thing is, I wanted to make a ternary operator for our credit sequence. Okay, so if basically we want to say credit sequence gets, and then we can do a ternary, just like above us, where we're saying we're going to check its equality for false and true or false, which is so weird. But basically what it's saying is it's going to assign credit sequence to be equal to the result of this check. We're saying, hey, if credit sequence is equal to false, then it's going to return this second value. And if it's incorrect, if credit sequence is already on, it's going to turn to false. In Lua's language, I guess I'm not really sure why this actually works, because it's like we're false and true, and then true or false. It is so weird that works. But let's see. So like let's see if we just say love.graphics.clear, clear the screen with the color black if credit sequence is true. So if credit sequence, then we're just going to clear the screen black, and let's just see if our ternary works. Yeah, it does. It does also still render our frame rate, which isn't so great. Let's see, where do we render the frame rate? Is it in our main? Some logic gate equation. Yeah, it's... I remember reading the documentation at one point for Lua and like you said, it's kind of like, well, it was something like if the value of if the result of an expression is false, then the result of an AND operation would result to the second operand, or something cryptic like that. So if you format it, and what's really weird and that I don't get is that if we switch it, well, let's just see. If we switch it into everything's the same except we switch true for false and false for true, I don't think it works anymore. But maybe I just typed it wrong in the past. Let's see. Yeah, see, it only turns off when we switch it like that. It has to be, and maybe if we start this to be true, does that still mess it up? Let's see. Yeah. See, that is what I really don't get about this, is that it only works if we're testing it against false first. So that's the extra weird part. But it looks like we've got a little toggle for something like a credit system. So it'd be cool if we had our FPS render outside our main. so that we can turn that off. Yeah, we have display FPS here. I think we don't want this. We don't want display FPS here in main. We want it in our play state, where we just added this logic. So we're going to add our display FPS, and we'll just display FPS before we do our credit sequence. Okay. Cool. So our FPS is still there, but beneath our credits. So if we wanted our credits to be transparent, we can do 0, 0, 0 for the RGB, and then something like 100 out of 255 for the alpha, and then it's going to be semi-transparent. Maybe not. Okay, clear isn't the way to do it. We want to do something like a rectangle. And rectangle takes in an X and a Y, so we're going to say 0, 0, a width and a height, which is our virtual width and our virtual height. And then this is what we want to be our color. Yeah, first argument is a fill type, so we'll say fill 0, 0, virtual width. So fill our whole screen with a transparent circle or rectangle. Not seeing it, because we did that. Back to 100 we go. We'll try it. Okay, so it dims the screen a bit, maybe a bit more. So maybe this is 150. And I like that we can still kind of play. It might be a little bit darker, right? 90 maybe. Okay. Cool. Yeah, maybe a bit darker. And I would like, we've got all of these particle systems that we're doing. We have a sand, snow, soot, and rain. So maybe we can add some particle systems just because it's prettier than a black screen with fading stuff up. So we can... Where is our particle systems? Let's see. Sand system. We say is it rain system? Okay, so we have these things in our scene. Okay. And let's see our rain system. We do not update it. We only update our snow system at the moment. Let's fix that. We'll say, you know what? We only update our rain system. And then when we render our scene, let's only render this. Okay, this is a little weird because our scene... We might have to put our credits... Yeah, we might have to put our credits in the scene. Yeah. Because our rain system, our particle systems are inside the scene, not the play state. So if we wanted to see the rain system on top of our credits black screen, it needs to be outside of it. So let's see. We turned on our rain system by enabling the update and the render. So there's our rain. And if we run credits, it is not very bright. So maybe yeah, I'm kind of curious what the rain and snow system look like together. Yeah, I think we will have to move the credits out into the scene. Looks like just too much. You know, we'll have to see it with credits going on, but it's like it'd be nice to use these, because right now we don't have any plans on using these for a decent amount of the future. So it'd be kind of nice to be able to make it pretty for the credit system. So let's go back to our play state and let's take out. We'll take out our credit sequence and we'll move it into our scene, and we'll move it okay, move it there, and then from our scene, any other credit sequence. Not in our scene, in our play state. Okay, if it's credit sequence, we render. Let's try that and move it to our scene. We might have to move display FPS to our scene too. We need to assign our credit sequence value outside of our play state. Yep. Okay. So what we want to do is we've got a credit sequence. Uh-oh. What's happening? Okay, we've got a credit sequence, so let's try to get... Oh my god. This is how... Damn it, man. Our freaking HUD is outside of our... Our HUD is in our play state. We might just have to move the particle systems into our scene then, or into our play state. Now, we have it in the scene because if you look at, like, once it's raining and then we move screens, oh, it's actually, you know what? Yeah, we're not even doing it correctly for, well, it does kind of move, maybe. No? Okay, I say we undo what we just did and move our particle systems into our play state. Dude, that is not what I wanted. Why did it change that? Okay. Play state. Do you have credit sequence? Thank you. Okay. So we have credit sequence in our play state. Cool. Let's get our particle system. And we don't have to, like, really rehaul this. We just need to basically not update and not render any system that's currently in our scene. So we'll do that. Okay, so let's say we just wanted snow for now, and we go into our play state and say that this is going to be part of our knit here. And we're just going to say that there's a snow system, and we're only going to update our snow system if we're in here. If credit sequence is true, we're going to take our snow system, we're going to update it, and then we want to render our snow system with the white color, neutral color. Cool. Okay. Maybe curious what rain and snow looks like. I'm kind of curious to see what all of them look like all at once is really what it is. Not that I think it'll look good, but I'm just curious. Oh my God. Yeah, it is sleety. It's just, yeah, I don't know. I don't really like it. I think I'm going to like just the snow. I don't know. I like that the rain changes direction. So maybe let's just see what the rain, just the rain maybe. Let's just see. So the credits will scroll up. Yeah, I kind of like the rain. I like the rain because it changes directions. Yeah, I think I like the rain. So let's keep the rain for now. Guess we'll keep that. Now we need to basically just scroll the credits upwards. So that just means we have a formatted string, and we can give it a bunch of credits, and then it will scroll up. We will just adjust a Y if it's credit sequence. So let's say we have a credits Y that starts at virtual height. Start at the bottom of our screen, and then we have a credits Y reset, which will also be virtual height, so we can reset it. So let's say we want to render this, we want to render the rain, and then over that, on top of that, we want to print F, a string that says credited supporters. And then I'm going to have to look up printf on Love2d because I forget. Text, font, XY, limit, align. Okay, so I put it like right where I can't see it down there. Okay. So text font, we've already got the font set. So X and a Y, limit, align. Let's just see what 0, 0, limit, virtual width, and then center gets us. Let's try that. So cool. Now the Y is jacked up. We want this. Oh, let's see. Let's see, because we want credit supporters. First supporter is this guy, and second supporter is this girl. So let's see if it wraps. It does wrap. It's just like really, really tight. So we're going to say, can we add new lines here? Can we manually new line it? And then we want to give the limit smaller, right? So like maybe we take out 20 pixels for the limit maybe. Okay. You can limit, align. It stopped being center when we changed the limit there, right? Because that looks pretty center. Oh, that looks pretty good. Let's go with that. And then we'll try to do instead of the Y position being 0, Y position will be credits Y. Okay, and credits Y starts at the bottom of our screen. We want it to scroll up. So if we're in our update function and our credit sequence is true, where are we, man? Credit sequence true. Here. Yeah, we want to update our credits Y. We will say credits Y gets minus credit speed. So that should be becoming a smaller and smaller number, therefore scrolling it up. But we don't have a credit speed just yet, so we'll add it here to our very poorly organized table here. Credits, speed. Let's say 1. That's probably going to be too fast, but let's see. So, credited supporters. Cool. That should be slower. Let's say 4 times slower. So when we want to run the credits, we can say credited supporters. That's cool. Looks a little choppy. I don't know, it just looks a little choppy to me. Maybe that's... It doesn't look choppy on playback. It just looks choppy on my screen. But this is cool because now we can run little credits and maybe we can... We don't really have a full screen, do we? Because it'd be nice if credited... It'd be nice if it runs full screen. But then again... Well... I don't know. It does... I don't know. It takes up a decent amount of space. Cool. And then I'll put together my list of credited supporters. I think I like that. That's cool. And I've been wanting to do that for a while. So yeah, let's do this. Credited supporters. Yeah. Cool. I like that. Cool. Yeah. Now we just need to put in our credited supporters, which I don't have the list in front of me just yet. But Shaky, I will give you a honorary credited supporter credit because you're here for this. But anyone who subs to the channel or saves up channel points on the channel redeems is getting a credited supporters, both in the credits for the stream and for the game when we're done shipping it. So I do have... Yeah, you're welcome, Shaky. You got this. Yeah, you earned it. You were here. You were here for this. I do have... I think I know most of them off the top of my head, so we can... I just don't want to leave anyone out. I think I got mostly everyone, so let's add them. We've got... And I think I wanted to do the order in which I had subs, but I don't exactly know. I know we got K-Tronics. Man, and then I'm messing up his underscore, I think. Let's see, K-Tronics. Oh, no, I got it right. Yeah, K-Tronics. Oh, AKA Bob was our first sub. So we've got AKA Bob, K-Tronics, and we've got, I know Super King was up there very early. Rough Cookie, of course. And then Jeannie Gray is a sub. And we also have Flatulence Knocker, who subbed to us. Shout out Fart Knocker. And then I know I'm missing one. Oh, Mies Games. Mies Games, I think it's like that. I have to double check. Oh, Salto for sure. Mies Games, I think it's... How do you check who's got like VIP badges and stuff on Twitch here? I don't know how to do it. Community roles manager. Here we go. Yeah, Salto, Super King. Super King's got underscores and Salto. Yeah, and K-Tronics. Okay. So yeah, let's just do all lowercase. And then we'll add Shaky, of course. Rough Cookie, Jeannie Gray, Mies Games, Super King. We need Salto. Let's put in Salto. And I need to find the VIP badges. How do we find the VIP badges we've got? We got to put Hypnotic in there too, right? At least as an honorary. We've rated Hypnotics maybe like 100 times. Man, I'm not seeing where the VIP badges are. I don't know how to find those. Yeah, I've got a day job. I run a video production company and I contract video editing work and audio editing work and cinematography stuff. So I do that during the day. I am looking for the VIP list. I'm not seeing the VIP list. I think I got everyone. Okay, I gotta Google this. I can type VIPs. Oh, that's just the ones in chat. I don't know how to do this. It's funny because it kind of is technical. I mean, there's a lot, at least with video editing, there's a lot of software and, you're working with a computer. And then on set, a lot of technicals for not only like all the data management, but the, technical video exposure, white balance, focus, aperture, all that good stuff. I am not finding how to find VIPs. What the heck? I know we hit our VIP max list. We hit 10 VIPs. I'm just trying to find it. Shoot. Sorry, this is so freaking boring. Twitch's ability to, I don't like their dashboard. They don't make it very friendly to figure out how to run the dashboard. Subscriber names, no. What the heck, man? I don't know how to find this. I know Mies Games is a VIP. I just don't know if I spelled his name right. Okay, I'm gonna look for like two more minutes, or 1 more minute, and we'll see if I can find it. It's like we're already here. I want to just kind of get it fixed for the commit before we commit and call it a night. Yeah, K-Tronics, Super King, got Rough Cookie, Community, Hype Train. No. We really don't have it. Why isn't it easy to find? Click on the community option, roles manager. That's where I was. Community, roles manager. I don't see any VIPs. No users. What the heck, man? Oh, you know what? It's not VIPs I'm thinking of. It's founders. Bottom of subscriber analytics. Let's see. Subscription. No, analytics. What the heck, man? I do not see where it is, man. Founder. I don't see our founder badge. Shit, this is so boring. Sorry, man. I just wanted to find this. How do you find it? Visit subscription analytics within review and revenue analytics. Why would it be there? There we go. Okay, it was Mies Games. Games with a Z. Oh, and Jaime and whatnot. Okay, cool. Cool. We'll get all the credited supporters in here. Let's do... Wow, Soup. Soup was the first founder. So I guess we'll go in this order. Okay, let's do this again. Soup. There's Mies Games. K-Tronics. Jaime. There's Fartknocker. Okay, and then we have Whatnot. Rough Cookie. And that's the 10. And then I'm going to check, make sure I don't have any other subs. Let's see. Okay, we've got everybody. Cool. Okay. And then last but not least, Shaky himself. Cool. Oops. Okay. And we'll do Shaky. All right, let's see. And blah, 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 blah. Thanks for watching. Thanks to all of our supporters. Yo. I think I like just supporters. Nice. Oh, this is cool. Nice. That's cool. That's sweet. I like that. Cool. And then we can run those credits while I'm like rating out to somebody so that it is, you know, something to look at while we're rating out, but that's cool. I think the speed is okay. I would like the leading in between the names to be a bit bigger, but I think it's okay. Because especially as this list grows, you know, we don't want it taking forever. I think that's cool. Does supporters? Yeah, supporters I think makes sense. That's awesome. I love that. That is super cool. Okay, so let's commit and then we'll call it a night. We got 2 things done. Well, 3 things done. We got our credit sequence. We've got our pushable object limitation for pushing into another pushable object, as well as pushing into an NPC. So those are the 3 things we did, and we can say we have pushable objects cannot be pushed into others or NPCs, and then added credit sequence. That's cool. That turned out great. Sweet. So we will get push, and then this will become the new thing we do, which is we go to raid out, and let's, we'll just raid Pirate Software because he's live right now. And then we'll run our credits. So we'll come into here and just run our credits and thank all of our supporters. So thanks for watching. Tomorrow will probably be, we might go to add the treasure chest tomorrow, and then make it so that, we would do the pixel art for the treasure chest as well as opening the treasure chest. And then I don't know what we'll do from there, but that's probably what we got tomorrow. So thanks for watching. Hope you have a good night. Good night, Shaky. Thanks for hanging.